Hello, welcome to New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. If you've read the chat, you'll know why I suddenly went into blind panic mode. Yes, time change is a weird thing. Different countries change the clocks at different times, as in completely different weeks. So Cyprus hasn't changed yet. A lot of countries have changed, albeit on different days. And over the next, I believe it's 3 weeks difference between some countries changing and others. So what I do with my lives, always check my thumbnails. It will tell you your time as to when I'm on, and I just follow two things as to when I'm on. Google time is the time it's telling you and adjusts for you, and StreamYard also tells me Google time, and it gives me a countdown as to how long until I go live. So I've got a double check on that. So if you're never sure when countries have gone backwards or forward, spring is always forward. Remember, you spring forward and fall back. So autumn, the fall is when clocks go back. If you're never sure when channels are on, particularly if there's a country you don't know what their times are, then just look at my thumbnail, for example, on my lives, and it will tell you your time as to when I'm on. So that's always a good thing to look for. I get so confused who does and who doesn't and when they all change. So do check out channel thumbnails for their lives if they're in different countries. So Steve and Tina are on. Hello to you. Going to be at about 9:30 a.m. here next week. Right, I've got no clue. This is another reason I can't follow what countries, what time, because basically when I get all sorted out, then I forget that other countries change their clocks earlier than me, and it's just madness. So always check a thumbnail as to when a live is on. So let's say a big hello to Steve and Tina Jewel. And funny enough, I've just been on their channel. I always panic when I have free time before my live, so that confused me all the more. So I have watched a few of my followers' channels to catch up with them. And Steve and Tina have just done a really lovely video I was watching. They often go out for walks with their dog, and I went to watch it all the way through. So I was like, hurry up and finish, because I've got to do my live. And yeah, you can see some totem poles where they were walking. They start off going over a lovely bridge, so you've got water. They go in places, shops. They went in a shop and showed you out and about. If you enjoy seeing other countries, like normality of just walking and what you see and shops and the high street, those kind of things, that's what I like on their channel. And Steve was also asking me, did I get his email? Yes, there is a reply somewhere in the cloud atmosphere if it hasn't got to you yet. Steve's he's playing with AIs at the moment, and he sent me some AI music. And if you want to know more about that, then do go on his channel and ask in his comments. And Steve is very enjoys talking about what he's discovering and using. He's made a few AI videos using AI only and one partially. So if you're into all that kind of thing, then go and talk to Steve on his channel, and he will enjoy speaking with you on that. Maybe he'll do a video about making them, maybe. Long walk. Yes, it did seem a long walk. Did say a long walk. So let's get going with today's video. What shall we start with today? Let's begin. Let's find the right section. Let's start with this. I couldn't find where I put it. I thought, I'm sure I had it ready, as it was just at the back of my desk. So you may know over the last 2 Wednesday videos, I've been talking about the book I hadn't read, the first one, and then the last one I was telling you about it, The Pursuit of Happiness by Douglas Kennedy. I have actually looked up Douglas Kennedy, and he's got 3 or 4, which includes this one, very high acclaimed books, very popular books, and this is one of them. And I've seen his picture. He is a man, because I said I wasn't sure if it was sort of a female writing it. And I did explain how when I started reading it, I was really enjoying it. It sounded really good. Gave it about a 7 or an 8. And then I got to a bit and it's about another character, and suddenly the whole way it's written's totally changed. There's a lot of not just historic references, but they're throwing in historical names or places or newspapers without any need to, almost as if, look what I know. That's the way it seemed to me. There was no purpose. There was conversation, just like, oh, you remind me of blah, blah, who, not being American and knowing much about the history, didn't know who they were anyway. And just pointless conversation to throw these bits in. Well, I persevered because I was enjoying it and I wanted to see where the story goes. I skim read a lot of that. Then the story got really good again, and I was just going to say, oh, well, that bit, ignore that bit, the rest of the book's good. And then there was another one of those conversations. Another one of those conversations, and just pointless. Like, look how clever I am. I know all these facts about history in America. It was totally pointless. Nothing to do with the story. You can see I'm quite a long way in. The bottom is what I've read so far. I am keep picking it up. I would like to read it more. I've been going to bed really early lately, and I mean like 7 o'clock. Really early lately. And I've tried to stay awake by taking my book with me. I've just been exhausted, and so I've gone to bed but taken my book with me. A few nights I did read some, but some I just felt my eyes were so tired I couldn't even read any. But you can see, look, read quite a bit. So I am still enjoying it. I just wish those bits could be not in the book, and that would be super. And I still think it's a possibility that he had to write so many pages. And I picked this one up. It's my friend gave me a whole pile of old books she doesn't want anymore. And I picked it up because I like a big chunky book. I wanted to really get into reading again, which I haven't had so much time for. So I picked it up because of its size, but I feel like there's great chunks could be taken out, and the book for me would be so much more interesting. As I say, they're nothing to do with the story at all. Nothing. So pointless in that. What am I giving it now? And overall, I've got to take the good with the bad, a 6. A 6. A 6. It's a shame because it would still be on the 8, sort of an 8, if those bits weren't in it. So we'll see where it goes. As I say, the story overall, very interesting. Want to see where it goes. Take those conversations out, particularly the first bit where that all begins. If you've read it before, do let me know. Let me know. And as I always say, they're not new books out. If you want to read it, as I say, for me, I like the, what's going to happen? How does this story go? They're what I like. So if you want to read it, do go to your library if you're lucky enough to have a library, and you can always order it. It's an old book. So price on here was, it's an English book, £6.99 was the price. Go to your library. If they haven't got it, order it and they will find it for you. So shame about that. Steve and Tina Jules say, I get tired of writers that want to give details of the food and wine they have at a restaurant, nothing to do with the story. I get fed up with, I don't like romance books anyway, but I get fed up with those type of scenes, you know, the sort of sex scene bits. I'm like, I don't need to know about that. Just say, you know, you could have to write all that flouncy bit if that's not the type of story. So yeah, sometimes they go off the story. I get that completely. So that is still what I'm reading right now. Okay, what should we do now? Let's do this. Okay, I'm not going down my board in the right order. I'm just going down my, what do you call it, interlude sort of intro bits. That's not a good idea. I'm going to miss something. So I think I'll go down my board. So you know what I'm doing, my craft at the moment. My first real go at embroidery that's not cross stitch. And I have done just a few little bits. It takes so much time even to do a silly little bit. So I have to point out what I've done. Let's move you forward a bit. The light might be better. So I've done the bit that goes to the pedal, which, if I remember rightly, Steve said was the crank. Was it? The crank, you said that was called. So I've done that in some silver. For Mike's request, he said, could you do a reflector light on the back? So I've done that. I've done the shelf that this basket is on. I've done that. And I did the handlebars. I haven't done the bit that links them to the bike. I still need to do, I don't know what colour to do the actual front light and the back light bit. In the picture of this, they've got the same colour as the bike, but technically they're not, are they? You buy them or add them on. So what colour should I do the two lights, the front and the back light attachment? Because I'll probably do those next. The handlebars, the actual construction, I still need to finish this area off, and I'll probably outline. Depends if I'm watching something on TV, or I sometimes sit with Mike while he watches something and I'm not really watching it, then I'll do a more tricky bit. But if I'm watching something, then I'll do something like an outline, because I don't really need to concentrate so much on that. So it depends on what I'm doing when I do this next. Let's see, got a comment. Black or silver? Black or silver? I was thinking black, and then I thought, oh, should I do it a different colour, because there's quite a lot of black going on, and I think silver might be a good idea then. Black or silver? I think maybe silver. I was contemplating black, but I was like, I'm not sure. Black or silver? Maybe silver. I luckily had some grey colour or silver colour. I had a bit of that. That didn't come with the kit, but I had some of that. So overall, I'm quite pleased with it. It's not bad. I mean, even the back is quite neat for a beginner of embroidery. I know if you're a crafter, you'll want to see my back. Apparently that's as important as the front. I mean, it's not brilliant because some of the stitches I've used aren't what I call neat stitches. So not bad on the back. I'm not really that bothered. In fact, I think the flowers look better on the back than the front. But I haven't finished those properly. So that's that. Okay, so that's a to-do before I see you next Wednesday. It makes me find time to do craft as I show it every week. Okay, let's follow my board, or else I'm going to get mixed up what I haven't done. Let's do this. tambourine time. So today I just want to shout out, of course, go and visit Steve and Tina Jules' channel. They are huge supporters of my lives, and I thank you very much for that. Really, truly. It's so nice to have people to chat to on my lives. But I want to also shout out today Giovanni's Garden, and she was on the chat, I think the last couple of chats she's been on. I don't know if you can hear the rain. We've suddenly got a huge drop of rain, so I apologise if you hear something. Giovanni's Garden, and I'll just type it in the chat in case you're interested in looking. And I was watching her channel earlier today. If you're into herbs or you're new to herbs, you'll know that's a passion for me at the moment, something new I'm trying to get into, hence the shout out. And on her channel, she's got some really good videos on herbs. I've actually asked for her to do something else about herbs particularly, but she's got good videos on herbs. And the amount of herbs she's got saved in jars at the moment, and she mostly makes tea. She cooks with them, but mostly makes different teas. And I learnt something from her today that I didn't know. Remember, I don't drink teas, whether herb or normal tea. I don't drink tea, so I haven't got much of a clue on teas anyway. But she was saying, apart from using her citrus trees, leaves for tea, as well as herbs, she also makes tea from her fig leaves. She's in America, by the way, in case you're wondering where she is, and she's got citrus trees. And she makes, I didn't know you could make tea from fig leaves. So do go and check out her channel. It's very easy to follow, very restful. And as I say, lots of herb things I'm sort of looking on her channel. And she's a very small channel still, so if you could just go over and subscribe anyway, I'm sure she'd be very pleased with that. And do let her know, of course, where you heard of her channel, which is something I like to know, where people know my channel from. So there's that. Okie doke, we better do this. Okay, Steve wanted a harder puzzle. I tested it out on Mike, and he didn't get it. Then I gave him a clue, and he got it straight away. So I'm not going to give the clue. I'm not going to give the clue. Let's do it without the clue first. I'll just say it. And then if Steve gets it straight away, kudos to you. So the puzzle is this. This is something a woman can have no more than 3 of. A man cannot have more than 1 of. What is it? So a woman can have up to 3 of, but no more than 3. And a man can only have 1 of. No rude answers, Steve. And let's see if you get that one. Are you going to stump you today? Well, let's see. Knowing you, this one is from my head, this puzzle. I just made it up. So you may well get it because, as I said last week, I think we think the same sort of way. The same way. So yeah, I think we think the same way. So see if you can get that. And why we're talking about Steve particularly, and why we can hear his cogs going. On Fridays, I normally do a quiz. Well, I'm going to do my quiz on Friday, but I'm going to do a special quiz for Steve. So don't worry, Steve, if you can't watch on Friday. But no, the quiz on Friday is for you particularly. Yeah, it's a special Steve quiz. So we'll see if he gets those answers right as well. So I'll say it again. Basically, the puzzle today is a woman can have up to 3 of and no more than 3, and a man can only ever have 1. As I say, Mike didn't know at all, and as soon as I gave him the clue, he's like, oh, he got it straight away. Okay, what should we do now? Let's go on to the quote of the day. So Wednesday's quote is this. Yes, so that's the quote for today. I was busy. These are for me, these interludes, as much as for you. Nothing in the comments yet. I can hear Steve's cogs turning in his head. Do, 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 do. Ooh, have I got him stumped? Maybe not, because he took a while last time, but got it. And I was surprised at the last one. Of course, you can all answer. It's not Dawn versus Steve. And don't forget, if you're watching this back later, then do put in the comments if you got it or not before I gave the answer. It's just Steve is the master of puzzles thinking. Do you need a cold compress? I'll give you a clue later. I'll give you a clue and then you'll just get it if you're like my mic. Okay, what should we do now? Let's do this. Okay, I'm crossing off things on my board. Last live I was talking to you about my other channel. Well, let's pop that up for any new people watching this back later. This is my other channel running across the ticker tape at the bottom. In case you haven't met it, that is it. And basically I was talking about that, saying that if I could get that channel monetized, then the income of that would then get added to the income of this, and I might actually get a payout rather than every 2 years. It might bring it on a little bit quicker, or still every 2 years, but more when I get the payout. And I said, I know I've got enough subscribers. I can easily get subscribers. That sounds a bit cocky, but I don't mean it that way. Subscribers is never an issue for me. That's the better way of saying it. But on that channel, I don't have enough watch hours. But I had no clue what it was, other than all I said was, I've got that amount and I need that amount. So I thought I'd look it up today. Watch hours on that channel, that's all I need left to do to monetize that channel. I need 3,000 watch hours. And I have 268, so you can see. So if you can, it's not a case of subscribing, go over subscribe, it's a case of watching. So if any of you want to throw on one of my playlist, that would be awesome on that channel. So thanking you in advance. I don't have any income at all here. You don't get disability benefit, which is what my income was in England in the end. I have 0 income, so all I have is the YouTube money when it comes, and PayPal if I get any of that kind of thing. So I'm not asking for money, I'm just saying I don't have any income. That is my income, hence why I would like a little bit more regular money coming in. That would be absolutely awesome. Okay, let's go on to let me see. Let's go on to this. Okay, so joke of the day. A woman goes into a specialist who does facelifts and all that kind of thing, a specialised surgeon. And she says, "Oh, I'm getting old. I'd really like kind of like a facelift done." So he says, "Well, there is a new way of doing it if you're interested." And he said, "There's not a lot out there about it. It's quite experimental at the moment, but it does work." And she said, "Oh, what is it?" And he said, "Well, it's a knob, a wooden knob that we insert at the top of your head, and your hair covers it, so no one will know. It's just a flat little knob. And then you just pay once for that knob, and it's done. And then what you do is every time you feel a little bit saggy, you can just twist it a bit, and it just tightens and pulls everything up." And then he said, "And you can go months, we're not really sure yet, but when you feel you need a bit more, just twist it again and it all comes up." So he said, "Do come back in like a year's time and just let us know how it's going, and if you've got any questions, then we can sort of see how it's going." And she says, "Oh, okay." So she has this special surgery where this little knob's inserted in her head, and she's fine after it. She goes home, she gives it a little twist, and she can just feel everything tightening up. So, "Oh, this is really good." And then a few weeks later, she thinks, "Well, I'll just try it a bit more." And she turns this knob, and it all just tightens up a bit more. And she finds every few months she just needs to give it another little turn, and it all goes up, and she's looking years and years younger when she should be getting years and years older. She just keeps tightening it up and tightening it up, and she gets quite, ooh, and really gives it a good turn. "Oh, I look amazing now." And then she gets quite cocky and really turns it. She's like, "Wow, I look wonderful." Anyway, her appointment to go back, and she goes back to the surgeon after a long time. And he says, "So how is it? Do you have questions?" And she said, "Well, very pleased with it," she said. But she said, "I do have two questions." And she said, "First of all, the first question is, it's been working well, but now I've suddenly got these two big bags under my eyes." And he says, "They're not bags. They're your boobies that you've pulled it up so much. They're your boobies." And she says, oh dear me." So he says, "And what was your second question?" And she said, "Don't ask. I was going to ask you why I've now got a goatee beard." A little rude one today, but I thought it was funny. Oh, Steve's still thinking. He's got steam coming out of his ears. I was trying to distract your thinking there by doing a joke. Oh dear. What else we got? Let's do this. Oh, you can catch me rubbing things off my board. If I make more intros, I've got to make them that little tad longer. So, garden. Wow, there's a lot going on in the garden, I tell you. I've now got the small whiteboard here full of jobs that need doing, lots of little jobs that end up being a massive job. Transplanting going on. So a lot of my indoor garden has either been transplanted into bigger pots or has indeed been planted out. Mr. Bean, someone was asking me on my comments about Mr. Bean, because you're slightly behind what I'm actually doing, because I've been so busy in the garden. I filmed, but I didn't get around to editing everything. So I just got to make sure you're in the right order of things. So therefore you're a little bit behind. Mr. Bean has gone travelling. Yes, one of my friends commented and asked about, is Mr. Bean there, or did you plant him out, or are you going to plant him out? So you will see what's happened to Mr. Bean. And Mr. Bean's got a nice coat on, and he's got a house nearby. Don't worry, it'll all be explained. But no, he's outside now. He's in a hugelkultur bed. So you'll see him. And there's also Mrs. Bean and Baby Bean. So lots been going on, lots of hard work. Mike's finished some projects, so lots going on there as well. I have just put, which you will catch up with, my cat food bags. You know, I grow in my cat food bags. I put my homemade compost in there, and I've now got them all lined up inside my 2 rabbit cages. They're like great big long ones. Got them in there, and I'm hoping the weekend, maybe the weekend, I'm hoping to go and sow some seeds in those outside now. So our weather is that we can sow outside. So I think what's growing indoors now for me will be my last indoor things, and then that will be the end of those. And then the shelves I grow on indoors come back in this room over there, and they just sit there as 2 shelves side by side. All the wood, pallet wood strips that we put across, if you see my indoor garden, you'll see instead of buying lots of shelves, I've got 2 shelves and then put wooden planks all the way between them all. So like they're almost supports, but I can use them as well. And it really triples at least the growing space. Those bits of wood I just tie up each line. So that shelf of the planks tied up, and then this shelf of the planks tied up, there's 3 lots. And then they just literally balance inside the door here on their ends, but they're tied up so they can't fall down. And that's where they live until the winter. So that's what I do with those. So seed sowing still happening, but lots going out. Got to be ready for appointments, to be popping in and out listening. No worries. No worries there. What else we got to catch up with? I don't know if you're into this or not. So, my dreams. I've been having so many weird dreams lately. Oh, but this was just a funny little odd bit within a dream. If you know, I used to run stage schools, and some costumes, I would say, I would order them so everyone had the same. Some things I would say, if a parent wanted to get, say they were a solo thing or they had to be a certain thing, I would give them the option of sorting their own out, or I get it. But it had to be what I said. They couldn't just come out with the costume. And in my dream, this girl was being a kite in a dance, like flying a kite, but she was the kite. So I said to the parent, did you want to make it yourself? And she said, well, if you tell me what I need to do and how to do it, then I'll make it myself. But I've got no idea how to make her look like a kite. So I was basically saying, well, from like her head to her arms, you do, it's like a diamond shape. So from her head, you could always have a peak hat. Down to her arms would be that bit, and then come in with the material down towards like her legs. And then I said her legs, you could have, how some people used to tie ribbons, like little bows all the way down the string. So that would be like her legs, and you could have half a bow on each outside of each leg. So when her feet were together, it was a ballet. When her feet were together and her legs were together, you'd see the row of little bows. So the mother went away. And she came back and she said, right, we've made it. And it was the show, which would never happen. We always had a full dress rehearsal and the costume had to be complete by then. Anything they hadn't completed, they couldn't wear, because that's the whole point of a dress rehearsal. It's so we see if they can change quick enough. We can see if they can dance in the costume, all that. There wasn't a dress rehearsal. It was just the show, which no. So this girl comes in and her mum has made out of a white sheet. She'd done the bows, but only from the knees down. She'd started the costume kind of here rather than here. So from here to her arms outstretched was the top bit. Then from her arms outstretched down to it was down to her knees was the bottom bit, but she had put bamboo canes in so it was stiff, and this girl had to have her arms out. Now it's a ballet dance. She couldn't move her legs because her knees are together. She couldn't move her arms other than this, and it's a ballet dance with arm positions and legs and all the rest of it. And I was like, I just went to say, well, it's a beautiful costume, but it's not very helpful for the girl who's trying to do a ballet dance. Oh dear. Shall I share my fish one with you? Yes, let's share that one. I had a dream last night and there was lots of little bits and I don't think they linked, so I don't know if I kept waking up and going back to sleep. But this was some kind of, I don't think it was a virus, but there was some sort of pandemic-y thing. I think it was more to do with weather and everyone had to leave the land. Now, this was a river, but you know these enormous, huge rivers, so you're not near land, but like really wide, like sea, but not, it wasn't the sea. And everyone was in boats, all sorts of boats, and I was in with some other people, this great big, like rowboat type boat, like an open boat. And they had a dog with them. Now I blame Steve for this dream. They had a dog with them, and it was like an Alsatian, but he wasn't quite a real dog. He was supposed to be a real dog, but I could see he wasn't quite a real dog. He was almost Steve AI. And I think that's maybe something in my head about that. And the rule when everyone was in these boats was if you'd already scrounged it from land leaving, it was yours. So basically what was in your boat was yours. If it wasn't in your boat, then it wasn't yours. You couldn't steal it. But if it was in your boat, that was the boat law. If it was in your boat, it was yours. But you couldn't take something yourself from someone else's boat. So they said, the people in my boat, well, that's all right because he's a dog. He can take things. They're saying people can't take things from other people's boats. So if we get the dog to take the stuff, that's okay. And they said something to him. I can't remember what they said. And he would move his head like, you know, these high cranes when they move like on building sites, and they move like it swings round and then they grab and then they swing back. Those sort of cranes, that's how it moved. Like those arcade machines where you grab a gift and then out. But this was a real, reminded me of like a crane. So his head would swing round over another boat, then he'd go down, grab the thing they said, pick it up, swing back and put it in our boat. And that was okay. And I was saying, you can't do that. And they're like, we're not breaking the boat law. We're not breaking the boat law. So they were just saying it for the fun of it in the end, because the more aghast I was, the more they were getting him to take things they didn't even want or need. And the boat next to us, because everyone's quite jam-packed, but different boats are moving, and they saw this giant fish in the boat next to us. And they said to him, fish. Then he went, grabbed, But to them, he was a real dog. In the dream, he was a real dog, but he looked slightly AI. So I'm thinking all this chat I've been having about AI, that was that. And I woke up. I woke up. So sorry for my crazy dreams. There's nothing I can do about them. I don't remember all of them, and I don't remember all the stories. Sometimes I remember a main part of them. Very bizarre. Okie doke. So we're doing my little promotion today for a playlist that you might have missed on my channel. Do check out my playlist. And this is one I'm focusing on at the moment that I think it might be of help to most of you growers out there. So I hope there'll be something on there. And I was trying to think last live on Monday, I was saying about plants to deter, particularly deer. And the name didn't come in my head. It's oleander. And I do have a video on this channel about the best way to start oleander from cuttings. I tried all the different ideas and did an experiment, and I've shown you on a video here the best way to grow oleander. So do look out for that. Okay, let's go on to this. So the question today was, what is something a woman can have up to 3 of, and a man can only have up to 1 of? No more. No more. Steve is saying one ring on wedding finger. Yes, because a woman can have an engagement ring, a wedding ring, and an eternity ring, but a man can only have the wedding ring. Yay, Steve! say Steve got that, but I think that's the AI Steve. Does your AI Steve have a name, or is he still Steve, but he's the AI Steve? Got it in one. Well done. Excellent. Excellent. That was a good one. You're determined not to let me win. Yeah, attempt one. Rings on wedding finger. I know, of course, in a lot of countries that is different. We have different fingers that we use. We have different sorts of rings. Some cultures don't even have rings. So, yeah, if you're from a more obscure country, you're going to come at me in the comments and say, well, that's not so. It was hard, was it? Was it? Do you think it was? I think that was the right level for you because you had to think, but you got it. So to me, that's a satisfying one because you had to think, but it wasn't so hard that you didn't get it. I think that was brilliant. I think that's a good level. I just came up with that one. Top of my noggin, I came up with that one. Top of my little noggin. So I have to think of something else now. But well done you. Well done you. So Steve and Tina, they are definitely on my tree of community. Good one, thanks. They're definitely on my community tree. And if you don't know what my community tree is, it's here. That's what this is. And look, it's always in blossom now for my friends. That's my friends. Okay, let's finish with this today. I have one more section today. Steve said, I've got to rest my brain now for the rest of the day. Okay, so I have one question for you today. And if you're watching this back later, please put your answers in the comments below. And it's, what do you consider to be so far the best invention? So something that really exists, what do you consider to be the best invention? And saying that, I've just been watching a series where we've nearly finished it, 6 parts, and we've seen 4. And it's all about the canals and how they were invented, the canals in England and how they've been invented. And each of the 6 parts is a different focus. So one is about the inventors. One was about how it's all constructed. One's about the workers, is the one we've just seen, their life and when they were working there, what they were given and what they weren't given, so on and so forth. So, I mean, technology, is that a good thing or bad thing? I wouldn't say it's the best invention, so I'm not going technology. Something really that we can't do without has surely got to be the best invention. What do you think is the best invention? Any forms of travel has got to be quite good because that kind of progressed people in life. Steve saying the wheel. I would say that's actually a good answer, the wheel, in many different ways. That's actually not a bad answer. I'm glad of the wheel for my wheelbarrow. That's my most used thing in the garden, the wheel, bicycle, yes, so many ways, trains, cars, many different ways. Wheels for like grinding the corn and the flour, making flour. They're wheels of types. Yeah, so I wouldn't say technology per se, but something we couldn't do without that was invented. I think communication, any form of communication, I'm going to say that I'm going to pick. Any form of communication. Maybe the art of writing even. Glasses. Oh, yes, couldn't do without those. I tell you, I couldn't do my lives without glasses. So I'd be gone. I did, I'm going to say a couple of years ago, I don't have spare glasses. I can't afford to have spare glasses. I did break my glasses. The whole arm came off and I couldn't go on lives or do anything. I couldn't see to do computer. Only use them for reading. Let me see. No, nothing. Nothing. Yeah, so I'm going to say communication. So we could say Morse code. I'm going to do a general Morse code, writing, the postal service. Obviously, before that was the what they call it, the men on the horses. What they call the men used to do fast delivery on the horses. Communications also, we can go smoke signals, we can do sign language. Imagine if there wasn't sign language invented. So that's communication. I guess then we could say modern things is communication. Pony Express, thank you, Steve. Pony Express. So I'm going to say communication and transportation. Yeah, I'm going to pick 2. Communication and transportation. Money. I disagree. I think it should still be barter system. I think money is the root of all evil, and that's what makes some countries powerful versus other countries. I'm going to say I dislike money strongly, but if you want to send me any. Even here, there's not anyone who lives here, but the villagers who've got farms here and come up for their farms during the day. I don't say we barter, but we give our gratitude in what we've got. So I give my time, I give my seeds. So we swap stuff. We don't say, well, if I do that, you give me something. It just naturally occurs. I let one of the farmers come and take all my carrots each year, and then she leaves something for me, whether it be food or drink or what she's got. So I like barter. I would rather there wasn't money. And then as well, you wouldn't get, one of the things I detest is, for example, famous people that don't really do much. They're going to say they do a lot and they give up their privacy where they choose to do that. And if they didn't give up their privacy, then you wouldn't see them and remember them. That it would stop them if there were bartering systems. It would stop them earning money that they don't need, don't want, misuse. Don't get me going on money. So I think money, no, that's not an answer I would say. I have to disagree with that. All right, what's the worst invention? So for me, I would say money. Worst invention. I'm not really keen on, I guess you've got to have some form of law and order, but I don't like the way it exists, as in who decides law and parliament. I guess there's got to be something, but it should be the normal, everyday working people should be in those positions, not the ones who've gone to hoity-toity schools but haven't lived in the real world. So I would say the invention of that system is wrong, although I agree with it, but not the way it is. What else is a bad invention? Well, we can go swing and roundabouts on social media and things like that. Oh, weapons. That's got to be top of my worst inventions. Weapons, definitely. I've got to go with weapons for my worst invention. Yes, weapons. Can't even think of anything, and that's talking chemical weapons and other forms of weapon. So that borders. Oh, that's a fantastic answer. Borders. That's a fantastic answer. Definitely. Yeah. Okay, what's an invention that doesn't yet exist that you would like invented? And everyone who knows me, I've said it so many times, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say. But for those of you who don't know, a transporting machine. I'm not talking about a time machine, but something that works very much like that, as in right now I'm here. I can, whether it be a box or tap something on your wrist or whatever it might be, I can do it and I will be with Steve and Tina right now. So I guess that is a form of time traveling, but I don't mean that. I just mean to get me from A to B instantly, not in another time frame. So a travel machine, but not a time travel machine. That's it. So I can't go to a different day, but I can go to a different country, for example, instantly. So that would be my invention that is not yet invented. And I do keep on at Mike saying, come on, you build all these fantastic things. Can you just get that built? But yeah, that's definitely my thing. Nice transporter. Yeah. As I say, not time travel, but place travel. Place travel. So instant. And whoever invents that, well, you know, they're going to be rolling in it. So I'm just copywriting that idea right now. I'm copywriting the word travel. Copyright the word travel, instant travel. But you imagine, I mean, laugh at me if you like, but how many people didn't believe in aeroplanes, rockets, spaceships? How many people? Going even further back, people didn't even believe other countries existed and other places. So, yeah, laugh at me now, all you like. I just hope that does come during my time, because that would be amazing. I don't know how they can control it though. You just have to step out of the TV, then you will be here. Oh, bless you. I'd love to be here. Be there. I'd love to be here. I'd love to be there. One of my channels I watch, My Mountain Home and Kitchen, and she's always saying, oh, I'd love you to come. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, surprise, I'm there and all that. And then she did a video recently about, I think it was some collaboration about what you would do if sudden guests suddenly appeared, like what have you got in the house kind of thing, as in food or drink, I don't know. And I just put at the end a comment, oh, glad to see you're ready for me. And then she commented back, oh, she said, you can come anytime. And I just had to put, no passport. It's amazing we can go live on the internet. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to weigh up the differences between good and bad on that, but I think overall it's got to be a good thing. People like myself, I wouldn't see other places anymore. I wouldn't meet amazing people. The communities are so awesome, on YouTube particularly. I do wonder about some of the other platforms, but YouTube particularly, the groups are really good. And that's why, Steve, I liked your video I watched today. I do feel like, oh, I'm going there, I'm looking, I'm seeing other places. And I've always liked, when I went abroad, going round the back streets, not seeing all the touristy spots. I want to see normal life. And that's what I did on your little walkout, or your long walkout. It was the sort of place, if I'd come to stay with you, you would have taken me to see normal life. What's there? What shops? I like looking at shops, what there's available. Because also, if you haven't been to a country before, sometimes you're like, you've got your thoughts what that country is like, or what's there, or which is why I've tried to do a lot of videos lately, not just round these sort of areas, but take you into town and show you what a real town looks like. And then I've gone right into Limassol city centre, or town centre rather, not city, town centre, and showed its big business and high-rise offices and all that, so you get the full taste of it. I've done a bit in capital, Lefkosia. I've done a bit there, and probably go over there again and show you more of that another time. So that's something I like about Cyprus. Everywhere is completely different, whatever sort of lifestyle or scenery or what you want or don't want, it's all there. Have to do some more walking around Campbell River. It looks beautiful. It looks really nice. And I do thank you for going out and filming and, yeah, seeing Rover. But it does seem very different there as well. Different places you go. You seem to have lots of different types of places. So you've got your shop places, you've got your where you did your cycle rides, your wooded areas, and yeah, it looks really beautiful, really nice. But I'm now an armchair traveller, and I particularly like it as well. I'm not someone who really watches travel programs. As I say, I like to see everyday life a little bit more. Oh, look, my everyday life. And that's what my channel was. It was just showing people sort of rural Cyprus, because a lot of people come here and they see the tourist side of things. So I do want to go and actually film some more places that you can go, because out here, tourist places, they're about €2 to go into most places here. So yeah, thanks for watching. No, thanks for filming. Thanks for showing me. And that's why I've got so many channels. I might not watch every video of every channel, but I like to dip in and dip out, and where do I want to go today, and see different things. So it's pretty awesome. Okie doke. I think I'll finish there. I've gone over my hour for today, and I might try and read a bit more of the book. Might read a bit more book before I go to bed. What time is it? It's 6:30. I've got to last a bit longer. So I might go and watch something with Mike first, and then I might take my book to bed. I might just do that. Yes. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it, as you know. Don't forget, if you're watching back later and you've got to the end, do drop me a comment, and then I can say hello and thank you to you as well. So thanks, Steve and Tina, for being here, and thanks everyone else who's watching, not in the comments, but thank you to you, whoever you may be. Steve saying, thanks for live. Have a great week. You too, my friends. Go and check out Steve and Tina's channel, and I'll see you all on my other channel live on Friday with the special Steve Jewell quiz. See you then.